Episode 16. If the Sabbath was a burden, why did Jesus call it a blessing? Key text, Mark 2:27. The Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. If the Sabbath was a burden that needed to be abolished, why did Jesus describe it as a blessing made for man? In Mark 2:27, Jesus said, "The Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath." This wasn't a rebuke of the Sabbath itself. It was a rebuke of the Pharisees, who had turned God's day of rest into a maze of man-made rules, stripping it of joy, purpose, and freedom. Jesus was restoring the Sabbath to its original purpose, not erasing it. So let's ask, why would Jesus say the Sabbath was made for man if it was just a shadow? Why would he say it was created for humanity's benefit if he intended to destroy it at the cross? He wouldn't, because he didn't. The Sabbath was never meant to be a burden. It was never meant to be a ritual of restriction. It was meant to be a gift, a divine appointment between God and his creation, a weekly reminder that we are more than consumers and workers. We are children of God. Let's go back to the beginning. Genesis 2:2-3 says, "And on the seventh day God ended his work, and he rested, and God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it." Three things God did. He rested, not because he was tired, but to set an example. He blessed it, poured spiritual favor into that specific 24-hour cycle. He sanctified it, made it holy, set apart from all others. Now tell me, where in the Bible does God ever remove that blessing? Where does he unsanctify the day? Where does he declare Sunday holy instead? Where does Jesus say, "I'm your Sabbath now, so the day no longer matters"? You won't find it. It doesn't exist. The truth is this: the Sabbath was and still is a blessing, not a burden. In fact, in Isaiah 58:13-14, God says, "If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, and call the Sabbath a delight, then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord." God never told us to tolerate the Sabbath. He told us to delight in it. But false theology has twisted it into something negative. Churches teach that the Sabbath is legalism, bondage, even a curse. But how can something God blessed be a curse? How can something Jesus kept be considered bondage? How can something that will be kept in the new earth, Isaiah 66:23, be irrelevant today? Let's expose the lie. The only reason people call the Sabbath a burden is because they've bought into the lie that obedience is bondage. But Jesus said, "If you love me, keep my commandments." That's not legalism. That's love. That's relationship. That's loyalty. And the Sabbath is the sign of that relationship. Ezekiel 20:12 says, "Moreover also I gave them my Sabbaths to be a sign between me and them." God gave the Sabbath as a gift, not a weight. It was meant to refresh, not oppress. It was made to bless, not burden. And Jesus confirmed that. He didn't destroy it. He defended it. So ask yourself, if Jesus said the Sabbath was made for man, who are you to throw it away? If Jesus said it's a blessing, why do you treat it like a curse? The truth is, those who reject the Sabbath reject one of the greatest blessings God ever gave to mankind, and in doing so they reject the Lord of the Sabbath himself.